I've always loved what I do. I'm passionate about getting people out to connect with nature, and I've always felt that gardening is a way to not only nurture our surroundings, but to nurture ourselves. Gardens are a natural tonic, which is something the charity Horatios Garden understands all too well. Over the last decade, they've created specially designed accessible gardens at NHS spinal injury centres across the UK. Gardens which have helped thousands of people with their mental and physical rehabilitation after experiencing life-changing injuries. Craig is 21 and was left paralysed after a car accident.
My car flipped onto its roof and broke my neck. I tried to turn the engine off because it was still on, and I couldn't do that. I couldn't move my arms. I tried to kick my legs and there was nothing was happening. When I woke up from the coma, I was fully paralysed. I was just in such a whirlwind to take it all in. I didn't want to be on earth at that point.
Craig found his injuries and a 9-month stay in hospital extremely difficult to deal with, something which didn't go unnoticed by hospital staff. One of the ward nurses suggested he go out to Horatios Garden.
When I went out to the garden for the first time, it was like a blast of fresh air. There was loads of flowers out and bees working everywhere. It was a feeling of back to real life.
Craig met head gardener Sally and the volunteers who run the garden, and life began to feel a little brighter.
Doing the gardening with Sally was definitely a big impact on my hand function and changed what I thought I could do.
Can you get hold of that? Do you think you can peel it off?
Being in the garden has helped a huge amount. Just watching him grow, his confidence, his sociability, it was just wonderful to see.
Wow, that is lovely.
I don't think I'd be where I am with my rehab without a charity like Horatios Garden. Without it, I don't think I would have lasted long emotionally.
Spinal injuries are traumatic, life-changing events, and often patients find themselves living on hospital wards for an average of 6 months with little privacy or access to the outside world, all while trying to deal with what's happened to them. The idea of creating a garden for patients to use came from a 17-year-old aspiring doctor, Horatio Chappell. He saw firsthand how difficult it was for patients in these situations.
When he was volunteering in the Spinal Injury Centre in Salisbury, he was really struck by the fact that there wasn't anywhere to be outside. And so this sort of bothered him. So we started fundraising. But in the summer of 2011, he went on a trip to Svalbard, and tragically, his camp was attacked by a polar bear and Horatio was killed. Through the pain of losing Horatio, we knew it was going to be so important to hold on to his brilliant ideas. And so we founded Horatios Garden charity.
Without Horatios Gardens, NHS spinal centres would have limited outdoor space, and any space that may be available would often be inaccessible to those in wheelchairs or hospital beds, making long stays even more difficult. But perhaps one of the most important aspects of having these gardens is that they offer patients, their loved ones, and even staff a chance to spend time together away from the ward environment.
I'd not been outside for such a long length of time, and the sun was just peeking through, and it touched some green leaves in front of me, and it was just the most amazing feeling. Green leaves and sunshine. It was really lovely. Yeah.
Pip is 52 and was injured in 2020 when a serious horse riding accident left her with a broken neck.
One of the girls from the yard came over to me and she helped me, and I asked her not to leave me because I knew that I couldn't move. And then the next thing I remember was waking up after the surgery with a big tube down my throat. I found it difficult to be in hospital.
After recuperating in 2 different hospitals for many months with limited outdoor access, Pip was eventually moved to the Midlands Centre for Spinal Injuries in Shropshire, a centre where the charity has created one of their beautiful sanctuaries.
The garden itself really made a difference to me because it enabled me to focus on my rehabilitation, not only physically, but also psychologically and emotionally.
And after 6 months with little contact, the garden was even more important as a place where Pip could spend some much-needed time with her husband Tony.
We'd realised that we were really heartbroken about not being able to spend time together. I don't think we truly realised it until then.
The healing power of nature really can't be underestimated. This is why the work of Horatios Garden, supported by wonderful volunteers, is so important. The charity offers garden and art therapy sessions, which are designed to improve patients' fine motor skills and aid rehabilitation, while complementing the clinical treatments they receive. And what's more, these therapies serve to enrich patients' lives. As was the case for 11-year-old Scarlett.
Do you want to play some netball?
She had a cavernoma in her spine, a rare condition where a cluster of abnormal cells begin to bleed. She was rushed into emergency surgery, but the family were told she could be left paralysed.
We went into the intensive care area and Scarlett was very drowsy. It was awful. Your little girl's there and you're helpless. We were told about Horatios Garden, and it was somewhere where Scarlett could just be her and just have some fun.
Scarlett became involved in the arts therapy, which she particularly enjoyed.
In Horatios Garden I made a wonky teddy bear and a cushion. I'll give it a little cuddle at nights. Horatios Garden gave me like a breathing space and that I could forget things. It made me feel a bit more like myself.
Horatios Garden wants to continue to build on work they're already doing by creating a garden in every NHS spinal injury centre in the UK. Your generous donation will mean that many more people will benefit from the natural tonic of gardens at the most difficult time of their lives. So please, give whatever you can. To find out more, visit the website horatiosgarden.org.uk. Thank you.